Richard Medhurst and David Pakman have completely different views on Jimmy Dore.
Issue, I believe that the involvement of Jimmy Dore in politics has become completely toxic. I've cast a wider net in terms of that toxic element of the left, and I don't know that this is the right characterization, but you might remember me previously talking about what I describe as the Leninist left of Vladimir Lenin, Leninist. And I don't think it's really fair to group Jimmy Dore under that, but there is this contingent of the left that by virtue of a combination of, as you point out, whataboutism, so-called progressive purity tests, and a whole bunch of other mechanisms that I've described, they end up being useful idiots. And I want to be clear, calling them idiots it's not an ad hominem. Useful idiot is a...
It's useful idiot. Yeah, he's going to say it's a political term. It means that Jimmy Dore doesn't know what the fuck he's doing, and that he's, by happenstance, other people are pushing him and using him for their own, ends and for their own goals and for their own agendas without Jimmy Dore knowing, any better, without Jimmy Dore being none the wiser. I think that's total horse shit. Russia Today runs a bunch of interesting pieces that tells us the truth. And I can see how Russia Today would want, to embarrass America, to humiliate, to show that how we don't have our shit together. But they're the media, and they're there to tell the truth, and they can't, go around lying. So it's kind of insane that in order to get the truth, we got to get Russia Today. Russia Today is the only place where you can get any kind of truth. What the fuck is going on, America? Russia Today, how come we depend on Russia Today to get any truth? Here's Richard Medhurst on Medicare for all, neoliberals in general, and how it's not about Jimmy Dore. It's about Medicare for all.
I'm a real leftist. You're a fake leftist. Dude, you support regime change? You're banging the war drums for imperialism? You're a fucking neocon. You're nowhere near the goddamn left, man. America doesn't even have a left to begin with. To begin with. But you want to come along and say, like, oh, it's a good thing that we bombed the shit out of Libya. It's a good thing that we destroyed one of the most prosperous countries in Africa. Yeah, great. Oh, we should do that to Syria too. You sound like Donald Rumsfeld. You sound like George Bush. You sound like Paul Wolfowitz. You sound like Condoleezza Rice. You're a fucking neoconservative. You think America belongs in everybody's business, that America has to invade everyone and police the world. You're not on the fucking left. There's no infighting here. We're not allies, you fucking asshole. You're my fucking enemy. You're trying to drone strike my family. You're trying to topple governments on the other side of the planet, and you call yourself a fucking leftist? You want war and destruction and make money for Raytheon? You think you did some little humanitarian project providing cover for this imperialist bullshit, and you call yourself a fucking leftist? You're trying to fucking kill me and kill my people, and you want to screw over your own citizens and deny them health care.
A specific sort of political term that has basically, it means you are unknowingly becoming a tool furthering the objectives of those who you either don't realize you're furthering the objectives of, or those you would on paper believe you're on opposite sides. I think that it's become completely toxic. I know that there are people in our audience who are fans of all combinations of these shows, but I think it is absolutely, brutally, completely counterproductive to everything that progressives are actually working for. I believe it is not pragmatic. I believe it is ideologically misguided, and that's where I am. So on that issue, I'm with Sam and Ben 100%.
Unbelievable. And then they got the Stones to be like, oh, we got to have solidarity. Ain't no solidarity with us, friend. Yeah, you can go have solidarity with fucking Raytheon and those pieces of shit in the Democratic Party that you're so adamant about protecting. Infighting. There's no goddamn infighting. This is the great unmasking, and you've been fucking exposed, motherfucker. You've been exposed. Oh, there's trolls coming after me. Oh, Jimmy Dore is mean. Jimmy Dore ain't the fucking problem or the topic. It's Medicare for all. It's healthcare. It's you attacking Julian Assange, who's exposed war crimes and imperialism. It's you pushing for regime change and NATO bombing campaigns. You fuck. You want to push these murderous wars in and then come here and pretend, oh, we're allies and we're fighting for the same thing. No, we fucking ain't. Get out of my face. You're scum, and you should be embarrassed peddling Russiagate. You should be embarrassed promoting regime change in Africa or regime change in the Middle East. You should be fucking ashamed and go hide your goddamn face and never come back in media ever again, you stenographer piece of shit.
And if I have a little bit more time, I was wondering if you maybe felt the same way about, say, a guy like Glenn Greenwald, who's a pretty big Russia skeptic and all that. And
I don't know. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I only am tangentially aware of what any of these people are actually doing day to day. So my opinion is based on, sitting down and saying, let me look at a sampling of the last 3 months of what they've done. And they may be doing things every day that don't fall under this. I've seen less of Greenwald stuff than I've seen of Jimmy Dore's. Like, I've actually seen more of Jimmy Dore's clips. And more so than his clips, I've seen a lot of analyses of his clips where pieces of his clips are played. And so with Greenwald, I would be less able to say for sure. But from what I saw in One Democracy Now! Appearance that he did, he seemed to be totally whitewashing any possible Russian interference or anything of it. Anything involving Russia in a way that seemed extraordinarily and generously exculpatory of Trump and his cronies in a way that seems very disconnected from the evidence on the ground.
All right, beautiful. That's kind of what I wanted to ask you. So thanks for taking my call. Big fan.
Okay, great. Thank you for calling in. Really appreciate it.
Here's the Majority Report. Sam Cedar taking down passive-aggressive, progressive Jimmy Dore. Dun, 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 dun.
We need to keep it as simple as it can be, but not simpler than that, unfortunately.
Now, Michael Brooks, I was actually thinking about him. He is a Marxist or some shit. I never really got into him, never thought he was like, hot shit or nothing. I just kind of saw him here and there on Sam Cedar Show. Probably other places too, but while he's a Marxist and I probably would agree with a lot of his ideas, he's kind of weird. It's kind of, well, there's two things. It was kind of weird how he died. And then he's in media and he's friends with all these newscasters, and I don't have any fucking clue how he died. He's, looks like he's at the pinnacle of the top of his game. Did he overdose and nobody wants to talk about it or some shit? He died in his 30s. And a lot of these people, Russiagators and a lot of the anti-force the vote people, seem like they were tied into Michael Brooks. So the one weird thing is, how he died. It doesn't. I guess they want to keep it private. I could understand that if it's embarrassing, but that tells me you're leaving it up to my imagination. So it's weird that we don't know how Michael Brooks died. And then the other thing is, I didn't like how Michael Brooks would just take this Schadenfreude pleasure, this sadistic pleasure in getting other people to make fun of Dave Rubin and to hate on Dave Rubin, and he would have this fake forced laugh. Oh man, we're really getting him good, right? So it's just this Schadenfreude. It's like he wanted to take pleasure in it, but then eventually it was like, what are we even talking about this shit for, man? I'd rather have a Ben Dixon, threatening motherfuckers than, Michael Brooks kind of just like elbowing people. Look at this motherfucker. Look at this motherfucker. I don't know. There's an impression. A lot of people liked him. I didn't really get into him. Not trying to take anything away from the guy. I just wonder about that Schadenfreude and then how much influence Michael Brooks had. And then, I saw one interview where it looked like Anna Kasparian was making fun of Dave Rubin, and then, Michael Brooks was doing that, fake, laugh, that fake forced laugh. And I don't like it. It's not good TV, and it's just gross. It would just be like, the whole, one thing I don't really like about Jimmy Dore, a joke that he says, it's not that I don't like it. I don't like it when people do this to people that don't deserve it. But Jimmy Dore, so Donald Trump said he didn't, like people making fun of his hands. He's got tiny hands. And so now everybody calls him tiny hands because we know that's an insecurity of his. That's so super fucked up, it's not even funny. It's like, what, you're insecure about something? Da-da-da-da-da. And you just go on and on and on. So, Michael Brooks.
So this left needs to be smart, it needs to be radical, it needs to be strategic, and it needs to be brave. Now, speaking of this, and this is totally unprompted, totally random transition, didn't plan this at all, just happened. There was a recent leading dum-dum on YouTube occurrence that may have in fact related to me and this show.
Dum-dum, this is what the same talks about. You got, the smart, educated left, like the David Sorotos, who's intelligent and writes shit down. Then you got the dum-dum left, right? The Jimmy Dores, the dumb motherfuckers, who's just like, ooh, Medicare for all. We're going to use our power to get the people some universal health care. The dum-dum left.
So this is totally unprompted. Matt just brought this up right before the show. It's totally unprompted. We came across this piece of dum-dumism.
And if you ever heard people saying, I heard someone say the other day, now, especially with the DACA people, they're being, their lives are being, 6-year-old, brought here as 6-year-old kids, and now you should have voted for Hillary. Someone actually said that on a news show the other day. So you should have voted because of DACA. How dumb could you be? Pretty dumb, by the way. Still defending voting for Hillary, even though it was Hillary who propped up Donald Trump. She completely rigged the primary to screw over the only person, to make sure the only person who could lose to Donald Trump lost to Donald Trump. That's what Hillary, and you still want us to vote for the person who cheated on Bernie. You still want to vote for the person who completely got us Donald Trump.
That's all that
matters. You think
you
got Donald Trump because everybody loved what the fucking Democrats were doing? Because everybody loved how Barack Obama handled shit? Because everybody loved how Bill Clinton handled shit? No, we got Donald Trump because Democrats got in power and fucked everybody over, you dummy. And if we didn't get Trump this time, we were going to get a worse Trump next time. Because your inability to think past one election cycle is why you're a dummy and no one listens to you.
Where's Trump?
It's unbelievable. People still saying that with a straight face. See, because of DACA, this is why we all should have voted for Hillary. And, well, you all did fucking vote for Hillary. I don't know if you noticed that. And you could have actually voted for a third party and made a difference with your vote, but you didn't. You voted like a stupid corporate neoliberal. You did the lesser of two evils.
Well, it's been come to my attention that apparently this guy, and I will use his name and his clip, Jimmy Dore, was talking about me. I was on the Young Turks a couple of weeks ago, and in the context of talking about DACA, I said, yeah, this is why you engage in strategic voting, because of the several million DACA recipients who are jeopardized now. It's pretty simple, and as you can see there,
Jesus, that's terrible. Michael Brooks is even worse than I thought. So a Marxist or whatever, so he's ideologically supposed to be good, but here he is just sitting there saying something about something, I don't know. Oh, Donald and Hillary, it would have been so much different. Hillary, it wouldn't have been that much. Okay, so, that's Michael Brooks, and,